calling meeting to order, June 13th, 2024, 6:32 p.m. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And my apologies, everyone's in attendance tonight, with the exception of Laura Rood, Trustee Rood, who has been excused. Public comment and input, no one is here, so I'm guessing no. Can I have someone make a motion to consent the agenda for April 11, 2024?
I make a motion to accept the agenda for April 2024.
And a second?
Second.
First by Trustee Studi, second by Trustee Johnson. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it, so passed. We have a short presentation tonight for administration of the oath of office for Linda Studi as a village trustee for a 2-year term from April 2024 to April 2026.
Okay.
All right, you can take the oath.
No pictures.
No pictures.
This isn't working.
I, Linda Studi,
I, Linda Studi,
having been elected to the office of village trustee,
have been elected to the office of village trustee,
but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof,
but have not entered on the duties of thereof,
swear that I will support the Constitution
swear that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of said office to the best of my
of
ability.
said office to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Did you turn about video?
Oh, no.
Actually, it'll also be on YouTube, so there you go.
This thing right here.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, sheriff's report. The sheriff is not here. If he shows up, then we will allow him to speak, but otherwise, I'm sure we'll get something in our email. President's report, just a few things, and Lateria will continue on at the end with her report. The windows, we'll both probably talk about. The windows are going really, really well. I hope if you would like to have a chance to see inside Building 5, Building 5 is pretty much done. They've moved on now to Building 2. It's been going like really fast, so I'm thinking by the end of July, everything will be done.
It looks really good.
I think they look really nice.
Yeah, me too.
I think, I've heard a grumbling here and there about people not really loving the big windows, but those big windows, would have cost $80,000 if we had done each of those.
That's what I was just gonna say. Then they complain about the cost.
Yes, so it's too expensive. However, in building number 2, Shelley from the spa, she has a very long lease with us. She was really upset about losing that light in her spa. So I went over there, and her window is a little bit different because it's not on a corner. But it does go all the way up to the ceiling. And so I looked at it and I asked Siding Unlimited to leave it alone until I talked to the board. She asked, can we just leave it? Can we do all the other windows in the building and leave that one as is because it will change the aesthetics of her spa? We could save some money. I asked Siding Unlimited. They said we already have the windows, but we could save some on labor. Lou from Siding Unlimited was going to get back to us on that. I could also have somebody look and see if that's one of those, some of her windows, obviously, like many of the windows in these buildings needed to be replaced. But that one might be fine as is, and we would just keep the windows and then maybe change it down the road. What does the board think?
Is there any way that we could add some kind of sign off? Because if, say, the window fails in a year or two, and now she's demanding that the window be replaced because it's leaking or something along those lines.
We could look into that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we don't have to replace it, but that's on you then. If you decide
Okay,
within the next, I don't know,
that's a very good idea.
so many years that, okay, cool, now you gotta do it.
She was like, can we caulk it? Can we do anything else just to keep the window intact? But I did explain to her that it is a window that is about 60 years old. You're looking at a really old window. It is beautiful. I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, she just did not want to hack it off where the other ones have been. And truthfully, you go into Building 5, and yes, it doesn't go all the way to the ceiling, but you still get a ton of light, so much light. I don't, when they do your office, I think you're gonna really
I'm
like
excited to
it.
open the window.
Uh-huh.
Get all
Yeah,
that
they
stale
just-
air out.
Mhm.
Should they just replace the lower ones and just leave the?
I don't think so, because they have to like take out all of
Structure.
Oh,
the, yeah,
maybe they're taking out all the wood.
yes.
Oh.
So,
Hmm.
just let me know, I like that idea, and it might be on the agenda, the one for like having something in writing to have her sign. I like that idea, and that might be something we add to July's agenda, because it really is just a discussion, it's not necessarily.
For me, I'd have to almost see, like, the difference, what would it look like? You know what I mean?
What?
I would have to see what it would be, what the difference would be.
In cost?
No, in the amount of light.
Oh,
Part of me says it's our building, we're gonna do what we want to do
Mhm.
with it.
mhm.
And if you don't like the lighting, well, that, okay. And here's my comment about that. Okay, let's say we don't replace it because our tenant, which is a good tenant, we want to keep her happy.
Right,
We leave it the way it is, 10 years down the road, 8 years, 5 years, whatever it is, then what? Do
Yeah.
we leave it, do we replace it, it starts to leak, like she said, it's on her maybe, I don't know.
well, we definitely have the windows for it.
I say, so if we already have a window, then it would be a matter of us, if we keep it, then we have to store it. And then down the road, if it does leak and it does go in, then she'd obviously be, like you said, responsible for the labor of it.
If she's still here.
That's the other thing.
Well, she has a 10-year lease, so
Oh.
she'll be here for a while.
Is she gonna be staying in that building? 'Cause I know there was a question of her maybe.
No, she's not moving.
She's gonna expand the building too to the other side.
Oh,
She
okay.
was, but she's not,
Possibly, yeah.
not yet. We gave her the option, but it didn't
What
work.
is her
Okay,
name?
it's Bob.
Oh,
So it's kind of her reception, it's kind of her reception area.
okay.
And
Okay.
she was just like, can we just leave this? Can we leave it as is? Okay, how many of you are for leaving it as is, and how many of you are okay with changing it?
I'd say as is with the stipulation of contract.
Okay. And like I said, I may bring this back to the July meeting.
It's like if you take a, car into the auto repair, and they say, okay, here's the repairs that need to be done, and you deny the repairs, well, they can't come back and say, okay, well, now, well, yeah, we know that's the problem, so you determine not to fix it, so now it's not our responsibility kind of thing.
I like the stipulation idea. Ken, you want her to just do it now?
Yes, and the reason would be keeping track of this, figuring it out 10 years from now, or whatever. You know, it's just a whole.
I think she was also looking to see if Siding Unlimited could do something else to save it. So she doesn't,
Okay.
she wants to see if they can caulk it, or if they can do anything. Is it really in poor shape?
I would
But do we have to
say,
pay- But do we have to pay for that then, or
Um,
does she pay for that?
No,
Because-
that's a great question. Like, if you want to have it caulked, like, if you want someone's honest opinion on what goes on with this window, then, I'm gonna have Siding Unlimited, but they might charge you. I could do that too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
So
mean,
you were
I'd be okay with that.
I mean, I don't want to pay extra to have it fixed, when we have to replace it, and it's already.
Yeah, well, I think that's another point is if they come out and say, yes, we can do this, I'm gonna say, then Shelley, if you're gonna keep the window, we already paid to have it put in, then you have to pay to keep it as is if they're gonna do anything to it. Okay,
Yeah.
what about
I agree
you?
with that.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, no, agreed.
Okay. I'm gonna back up again a minute because I am gonna give you a minute, Mr. Rigby. I'm gonna fill in the board and then I'm gonna let you talk. We already got past public comment, but since you came in a little bit late, I will let you take the
Thank you.
floor. So, Jerry Rigby, why don't you stand up, state your name, your address, and what your concern
Jerry
is?
Rigby, 3418 North Elmwood. You said state my concern.
Mhm.
So I have a trailer. I had two trailers actually. I had a small trailer and a larger trailer. One is a food trailer, one was a trailer for my ride lawnmower. I own a landscaping company, as well as I'm a truck driver, and also I'm starting a food service. I'm going to start renting my food trailer out to businesses in Racine that wants to use it. But I currently had it stored in the back, which is not even an issue anymore because she explained to me that it's city was your dad's property.
The alleyway is on the.
The alleyway. And I didn't know that. The realtor told me when I purchased the house that it was a private driveway, and she sold it real good. So I never figured it was a problem. That's why I even was giving one of you guys a hard time about 89. But also my smaller trailer, which is probably like 6 feet, I moved that one. But moving forward, I don't feel comfortable, or I don't feel the need to have to pay, because I can put my trailer in front of my house because I have a small lot that sits off of the street.
You know where that is? Your
So-
house we're talking about? With the drive in the front where you can park, it's like the only house that you park.
Yeah.
Everybody understand where we're talking about? Okay.
So my thing is, I can put my trailer there and save myself some storage fees, because I would have to pay storage fees. And my property will have to be off of my property, so hopefully their security is good, and whatever their bill is, when I have the space to store it. And she was saying that this ordinance, however old it is, a lot of them is 60 years old. I think it's time to review some of these ordinances, because as time move on, things change, the world change, and et cetera, et cetera. So, like my trailer is not unattractive, it's not unappealing, it will not be on the street, like it wouldn't cause no obstruction. My neighbors, I don't believe will have an issue with it on either side. So it's kind of like, well, now I'm just being forced to pay extra to have my trailer stored when I pay my taxes currently or nothing like that. My property is upkept, and I'll cause you problems. So it's just like, well, now that's a problem for me.
From my understanding, the smaller trailer that you use for landscaping is not in violation. Kendall, am I wrong there?
Well, it was,
Because it is, it's smaller,
it
it's
told,
not.
it said that in the first letter, it said you have 2 trailers.
We have to, so I guess we'd have to have the measurement for the first trailer, because I think if it's under 9 feet, it's not in violation.
It's certainly under 9 feet, that's,
Yeah, I
it
think
only
it's
fits my
only
ride
6
lawnmower.
It's pretty small. I don't know if that one's in violation because it is, we do have other people that have smaller ones. I can think of one neighbor on North Elmwood Drive that has a smaller trailer.
Well, I got the letter for that one first, before I
But
even
the
got the
second
letter for the
trailer,
second
the
trailer.
bigger one is 9 feet, and you can't have anything bigger than 8 feet on your property. And we were telling him he needs to find a place to store that, and that's the concern. It was in the back, behind his house, but in the alleyway, but he didn't realize that that part of the alleyway next to his garage was not his property. So I asked him to come tonight, go ahead, Mr.
I was gonna say, even with the alleyway, that only leads to my house, it doesn't lead,
It doesn't go through.
it doesn't go through it, you can't even gain access to nobody else's house. Unless, well, the gentleman next to me, because he don't have no fence, he just open. But, as I was telling her, I never knew this was y'all property. Just this weekend, I spent maybe 2.5 hours out there knocking down trees, weeds, and all of that, and I'm just like, well, if I can't put my stuff back here, then why am I back here taking hours to take care of this? I even parked I have a 74 AMC, I parked that back there. So she said, you can't even have vehicles parked back there. So it was just like, well, it's kind of pointless for me to be, my neighbor used to do it, but he got into an accident. He hurt himself, so he hasn't been doing it, me and my son's been doing it. Not saying I won't do it for the village, but it's kind of like, well, I'm out the way. It ain't bothering nobody for my vehicle to be back here, even my trailer, but my vehicle at least. I don't want to sit it in the front because I'm only going to put a car cover over it so it won't get hit in the sun. Back there it's all shade. Now, a car sitting in front of my property with a big gray car cover over, now that might look more unappealing than a trailer. So, and I don't want to be not in compliance. Like, I don't want to cause any problems, but I got to get some leeway with that before I just, I don't know what else to say about that besides.
So, I think it's not really a discussion time like with us, but we can discuss as a board and see if I don't know if there's anything we can do because it is a village ordinance. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Rigby that you want to ask?
I have to see it.
So is this a private driveway, or
It looks
It's-
like a private driveway?
but it's actually
It's not like an alley that goes through, like, it goes directly to his house. Like,
So
to
the
his,
village owns that.
it's just like a little section. but
I
then
know
the
which
rest
one you're
is-
talking
So-
about. I
The
just thought
rest
it was
is-
a private driveway on the other
I
side.
thought it was
I did
his
too.
house
Oh, okay.
when I was
In my opinion, not knowing a whole lot, I think the spirit of the ordinance was aesthetics, not having trailers parked in the front yards. This is not. I never knew there was anything back there. I live right over it. So it's a unique situation in my opinion, and it might require a unique viewpoint on it. Because his is probably one of the, if not the only homes, you know, in Elmwood Park where he can have something out of sight. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? I guess I could too, if I parked it down by the
River,
pond, but,
yeah.
but
The
you know what I
pond,
mean?
by the river? Yes, down by the pond, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, I got the trailer taken care of, as I said so earlier, like, I don't wanna make a fuss about it. It just made better sense to me, I was playing to my buddy, and he got a lot out of the highway, he said, you can
Bring it out here. So now you just have the bigger black trailer, the big one.
No, I'm talking about the big black trailer, like, I got that situated.
So,
you just
so
have
it's really just a smaller one we're talking about now for
No, it's
landscaping.
really my car at this point, the
Okay.
AMC. The
I saw
trailer,
that.
I'll probably move the trailer sometime this weekend, y'all said before the 15th.
Yes.
So I'll move it, but
Well,
my
that's-
AMC is still, you know, I don't wanna bring it around.
You don't wanna
If I
park
had
it
I
in
will,
front,
but
you would rather have it in the back.
I would rather park it in the back, and the way the driveway is, when you go straight, I got a small space in front of my garage, but, you know.
So you're hoping to park next to the garage?
I'm hoping to keep it parked next to the garage with the cover on it, which it can't even be seen unless you.
I've seen, I went by today, I did see it. How old is it?
This is 74.
So come to the car show. Show it at the car show.
I'll plan on it.
Okay.
Champlin or?
I think if you want to park, you want to just have the ability to park next to your,
Garage, the AMC. not
but no
nothing else.
trailers then on the property.
I'm gonna move the trailer.
I wouldn't say that I'm in agreement. I think Kendall, that is okay with,
It's not blocking anyone else's access and it's
No.
out of sight.
I know there's gravel back there, but it is just a car. I think it's a lot cleaner than it was. There were a lot of cars on that property before, as long as we don't have 12 cars back
No,
there.
it won't be, it'll be more.
Snow removal.
Yeah, snow removal is my only question.
Nobody,
I don't think anybody
who does
plows
this,
back
I can
there.
say, I do the snow.
The plow doesn't
The
come
plow,
back
the
there?
plow
The
doesn't
plow
come back.
generally
I
comes
couldn't
back.
get out of there when I went back there, I got stuck.
Oh, no.
I'm like, nah,
Well,
they're
that's
doing it
a
again.
concern.
Yeah, they never.
Do you
they
think,
never
well, I
plow
guess
back
the snow removal, yeah, I think, let's discuss as a board, let me get back to you.
there. All right,
Okay.
And then what kind of food truck do you have?
I don't have no food. Like I said, I'm renting, I'm gonna be renting it out
Okay.
to people who,
So we do events, so.
yeah, whoever doing an event, who wanna, like, a lot of places got restaurants, and then they have, you know, we have these fairs, and
Okay.
so they don't have the ability to transport, so they rent them from other people, they can just rent it for me
Oh,
for
that's
travel
nice.
on the ferry. But, all right, thank you, just let me know, appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Reedy, for stopping by.
Absolutely.
Can I go back to the windows?
What's up?
My other biggest concern with the windows is having somebody check them. You kind of like, I have a punch card of like checking to make sure everything is done correctly. Kurt would be the main guy for that, but Kurt is not well at the moment. So we're thinking, is anybody a window expert in this room? Brian? No? I could ask Ernie. I know Ernie was not, super excited about the company we worked with. I could also ask my dad because he installed windows for Brandon Wilbur for years. And if you're okay with that, I could just have him walk through and just make sure everything looks good. Okay.
People are experts.
I would like somebody to inspect them as we go to make sure we're not missing anything, because I do think that that's really important, and that they've been installed correctly, so. All right, and I don't think John Leonard would be, ready to do that either, he and I have talked, so. I don't have to talk about that, so I'm gonna move on, and I don't have anything else to report. Does anybody want to say anything about our guest that just came? I will get back to him tomorrow.
I would just personally say two things. First of
And
all,
this might have to be on our next agenda meeting. Yes,
I mean, technically you shouldn't take a vote on something that's not.
right, so we might have to tell him, like, you have to move it for a while, but we will bring it up at the next meeting.
We can always put it in front.
I think his worry is damage to his car.
I would be too.
Mhm.
yeah,
It's the old-
It is an old car. I think he's worried about, he doesn't want it out in the open.
I
understood.
just think the property is just strange, it's not
It's a
like
weird layout.
anything else to see.
So
My
what's the
opinion
owner?
is if it, you can't see it from the road,
No,
well,
you
stay
really have to
there.
look down the
I mean,
alley.
the only,
Yeah.
With the one caveat that if it becomes an issue, if we get a complaint,
that's,
if anything happens,
I'm thrilled that he moved the trailers that we asked him to
We
move.
reserve
I
the
think,
right
I
to-
think that was good to hear, that we asked him to move those today. He got a letter and he reacted, and said that they've been cleaned up. I did not expect that. I expected him to come in and talk about that. So I will add this to our July agenda and just ask him if he could park in front of his, on a space in front of his, until our July meeting. If you could do that, that would be great, and that's where we will leave it.
Well, on that note too, I mean, when we get to that point, can we just give him a permit to park his car there so we don't have to change the ordinance or anything like that?
Yes, I think that, we have done that for other people in the past.
For long term?
Just like a 1-year permit or something?
Should we do a temporary one until July?
I feel like you're opening a can of worms here. I mean, what stops the other neighbor down another alley wanting to do the same like?
No, I don't think he is the only one that has a garage that faces that way. Nobody else has a garage that faces that way.
It's not a
They
straight.
His
all-
garage is not in front of the alley, it's off the alley, and the alley goes like this.
You can see his garage from the street.
Yeah.
I disagree,
I thought it
I'm
was-
sorry,
thought it
I
was back.
I
That's fine,
disagree.
disagree, I'm just voicing my
I,
concern.
this is a unique situation, and we have had unique situations, as I've been on the board for almost 5 years, where we have made allowances. I don't think this is going to be, this is not, there's no other house like this that has this situation.
And it's
I don't
nice to have
know, I'll go
everything.
look at it again
He's
and
the
see.
homeowner, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
What about excessive parking when he has people over at his house and they line the alley? Like, you're not supposed to stop or park on the alley.
No, I agree with that, but that will be in a caveat. He's not asking to park in the alley, he's asking to park next to his garage. And he was told when he moved in that he thought that that was part of his property. I will go look at it personally, and then I will come back in July, and we will discuss this as a board. And that is where we are leaving it, and we are moving on to the next point.
Okay.
Okay, trustee Hinkle, do you have anything to
Nothing to
report?
report.
I do have a question. We do have some trees, one in particular. And I think her name is Kathy, is that right, Kendall?
Yes.
I don't have her address on me, but I will get it to you. She has somebody behind her house where a tree is leaning. It is still in the ground. She has already sent them a certified letter. I would love for you to go over and take a look at it and see if, I don't necessarily want to get involved as the village because, but if it is a hazard, we could get involved. But Ernie's always given me the rule of, you don't always want to get involved if it's neighbor to neighbor, but the neighbor will not take down the tree. And it looks like it's going to fall on her property, because they want it to fall on her property so it becomes her problem.
Seriously?
Which is what her feeling was. She's talked to him and sent him a certified letter, and the insurance company said, just let it fall naturally, and then deal with it then. But it will fall on her property. She also said something about it being near power lines. So I'd love for you to just take a look at this property, go over there, see what we're dealing with, but when there was another incident on Green Meadow Lane, where there was somebody's tree was leaning over her house, and it was gonna fall, and she was worried about it falling on her house, and we sent them a letter to have it taken down, and it kind of became a mess, but from then on, we couldn't be involved, like, he left all the branches in her yard, she had to clean them up
Yeah.
herself, so, if you could do that, that'd be great.
Sure.
Okay. Trustee Johnson, anything to report?
Saratoga Court with cars that night again. And,
Are they breaking any sort of rule?
Car growth.
Huh?
Are they overnight? Are they staying
And
overnight?
as far as I know, yes. Multiple.
Is this Mr. Hargrove?
Probably again.
I thought this was during the day.
No, no, no.
Saratoga Court across from you.
Mhm.
So it's not gonna be easy.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Mr. who sent us an email.
The Jorgens, John Jorgens?
John Jorgens, did he talk to you?
is he the guy in the corner? Yeah,
I think so.
The old dude, something about daycare and all kinds of stuff going on. He talked to the neighbor next to me,
Okay.
yeah, a while ago.
So excessive vehicles.
But you say they're overnight, like are they
Did
getting,
I'll triple check again, I mean.
Are they getting-
Huh?
are they getting ticketed?
I don't think so, I mean, they'd be back, right?
Okay, so maybe contact.
But there again, I mean, it's, you know, it's a, kind of wish the sheriff was here too, just be, and there's nothing they can do about the speeding, but it's out of control. It's like Green Bay Road now.
She'll talk about that.
70 miles an hour down lane from
Mhm.
nonstop. So anyway, so next question is, just for my own knowledge, so when a permit is pulled, how much are we paying, let's say, the electrician? I have a $200 permit. Do they get a cut of that, or are they salaried, the reason I ask for a friend, say someone had bought a new electric vehicle and had the whole thing put in the garage, then you pay the permit to do all that, right, and you go through all the headaches, and then unsaid inspector comes over, goes, looks good, want to see my new Grand Cherokee? Why did I just pay $190
I have it inspected.
to go, looks good? It's the same thing with the hot tub.
Mhm.
When I had all that and I put in tons of work and paid $400 for a permit. Yep, looks good. I mean, I'm not an electrician, but I would think you would unscrew the 4 screws, take the panel off, look. But it's, you know, someone's gonna get pissed, bottom line, because you're spending a lot of money, you know,
And this is our inspector, is that what you're gonna
Right,
talk about?
yeah.
Okay.
you know, looks good. I mean, why pull a permit?
Because isn't the point of the permit to ensure that the work that is done is quality and that the homeowner is secure
Yeah.
with?
But like, so, you know, for instance, and that's an easy thing, but, you know, pull out 4 screws on the panel, look, that this was put in, there was another unit that detects electric going throughout the house, so if my pool were to kick on at midnight for some unknown reason, it shuts down power, blah, blah, blah. But even, like I said, even with the hot tub, when you're putting in another outlet, a panel, upgrading the panel in the garage and spending thousands of dollars, I'm not saying that's for the permit, but, you know, $600-700 in permits for 2 projects. And, you know, I even left a hole in the ground for the hot tub that I had to trench by code.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm the inspector, I'm measuring to make sure it's down, but I don't know how it works, so that's
Because
all.
then, if, say, the inspector does come back, does that, and then there's an electrical fire, is the village then liable because it passed inspection and it should?
Yeah, and I don't know, and that's why I was hoping, kind of hoping Kurt was here tonight
Yeah.
just to ask, because to me, and if I was on the board and I'm coming in going, hey, wait a sec, I just paid $190 for a permit for someone to look into the garage and say it looks good.
Is this our,
It's, yeah, Tim.
no,
Oh,
our electrical inspector, not our,
no,
okay.
you know, it's just, to me, and maybe that's how they do it, but I, at least, like I said, I mean, if you're putting in different breakers into a panel, you'd think that the top, you know, the front would come off and you'd look at it and just say, okay, yeah, that looks good, but.
And I think anything that could possibly make the village liable if something went wrong.
Yeah, and I doubt they would come back on the village or our inspector, you know, it'd come back to the company that installed it, but still, it's, you know, you're still pulling the permit, you're doing
Kendall,
things
do
the
we
right
get
way.
any sort of, there's nothing when the inspector gets paid, it just goes to them, right?
They pay us and they get a cut of how much the permit is.
Okay. So it goes to the, some to the village and some to the
Majority
inspector.
goes to the inspector, and then we usually get about $50 or so, depending on what kind of project it is for the village.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, but
I guess we can.
you know, like I said, if all of a sudden, you know, 10 people are getting electrical stuff done, and then they're going, wait, you didn't even really look at anything.
Mhm.
So it's like.
I don't know how to have that conversation with the electrical inspector.
Huh?
I don't really know how to.
No,
have that
like I
conversation.
said, we don't have to, and I don't,
But you just wondered, yeah.
he's a nice dude and stuff, but, yeah, it's like, okay, well, call me an inspector, and I can say, hey, what's she got?
Okay.
I,
Trustee Root is excused, trustee Stein,
I don't know.
trustee Studi,
So, Rummage Sale's next Friday and Saturday, Tunes on Taylor is this Tuesday. That's all set to go.
would anybody like to put out some signs?
I can go.
Okay, that'd be great. They're right there.
We had, Trustee Whittick and I had our meeting for the car show on Sunday, and that's already coming together nicely. We're just starting advertising. So, and then the little library for adults is finished. I gave that to John Leonard.
Oh, you need today?
Mhm.
Great.
Yep. And so there, one more post has to be put out, and then the kids' library can be put out as well.
Okay,
So,
great.
Yep.
Yeah, I gave some today. I really wish the posts were not green, because you did such a beautiful job of painting them.
Oh, the other one has a green in it though. so
And I was
that's
like,
fine.
maybe we'll changes. And, Lataria and I saw a bunch of kids' books in Building 5 that were left behind, and we
Okay.
might snag some to
Take
like,
some in, take some out.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
run
good.
low.
Okay.
Trustee Whittick?
Well, I had a, resident stop by and donate $50 to the events committee. That, Mike Cortez, is it?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was out in the yard and he stopped, and so I said, well, we're going to a meeting on Thursday, so he's gonna miss a couple of them, but he wants to be supportive, so.
Well, that was nice, so he just, that's very nice, Mr. Cortez.
Mhm.
We'll have to send him a little thank you. Administrator Shaw?
Yeah, so lots of updates. We had a lot of renovations and our projects have been pretty much done in the village. So we're waiting on the windows now. So we have a new concrete slab that's completed. And then building 5, the windows are completed. They do have to go in and do some more trim, but they're moving really fast. And it's quite a breeze that comes in when you open them. So very happy with that. And then the furniture was also repaired or replaced. So that is all on track. So very excited about that. And then I did want to talk about the gazebo because we put that in our budget, but we haven't selected a gazebo. So that's something to work on. We can get that out there. So possibly at the next meeting we can have that. So for my notes, a little bit more. So with the windows projects, I know when it started building 5, they're in building 2 now. And they were on the vacant side, but they are also moved over to the spa. So I think I'm not sure how they got to the other side. I think it was just a miscommunication there. They must have just started.
I think they did one whole wall
Yeah.
first, not realizing it was.
Like not split it in half, but just straight off. So they are on the other side where the spa is, working on some things. After building 2 is completed, we're going to be moving to building 4, where the church is. And then building 1, and then building 3, we did a final building for the windows. And then the little library is to be put in, and the butterfly garden will be next to the park. So that was all exciting news. Today we did meet with Randy Savacchio. We do have 2 candidates on building 5 right now. The first candidate, who I'm going to go with. That would be a church, it's a Hispanic ministry out of Kenosha. So we're really looking at them as a candidate. The second candidate, they were a group home. It was a group home for all girls with children. But that'd be more residential, so that's why we're not leaning towards that direction, just because it's already a commercial state. It's a lot of changes that can be made if things become residential. So there's a lot of different ways to handle things when we deal with residential versus commercial. And then today we did meet with Mark Kingston. We're looking to get some more information about the sewer agreement. We have a sewer agreement and a water agreement that are due for renewal right now. So 2 separate things going on there. And he's also doing a background check for the candidates for the notified. So we'll have more information about the sewer agreement and the water agreement. Mark Kingston was really trying to look into a little bit more eligibility and some of the stuff. If you all notice, we have the speed detection units out. Have you all noticed? Yeah. So there is first on Lathrop, they said that with the report that 80% of the time people did do speed limit.
So they saw that big sign.
Yes. So, yeah, once I heard that, I said, well, can you bring it over here to Taylor?
We wish though, Leticia even brought up that she wishes it was closer to like the curve.
So
Yeah, 'cause I
catch
think that
people in
gets-
line.
Yeah,
They see
it's
you slow
like-
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, we did say that the flashing stop sign is still a really good remedy for that. And I did say like maybe a sign like slow down, curve ahead, stop ahead, something like that could really deter people from speeding that way. And it's just, it was another accident at one of the intersections too, so.
That was just a little while ago.
Yeah, like Wakefield, Wakefield, and they're doing a speed study as well too for this on Taylor.
For that,
That's,
stop.
yes.
But the stop sign, you said that's still something that's being looked at, because there's
Yeah.
been 2 more accidents. I mean, it's 1
Yeah.
week, it's 1 week, I mean,
Yeah, people
pretty
just-
much,
It is wide.
yeah.
And that would be
For-
the county would be
Yeah.
responsible for putting those in, and we talked to Ernie a bit,
Okay.
because he'd be, who would represent us out there, so.
Mhm.
With the speed, when it was over by your house, because it was on Lathrop for a minute, was it
Yeah.
different that people were speeding there versus Taylor Avenue? So it was over on Lathrop first and then it was Taylor.
So we haven't got the results yet for Taylor, they just put it out maybe like 3 days ago, so we're gonna wait for the results, so maybe in the next week, next 2 weeks, we should have more information. I am interested in seeing what the difference is, so we can really solve the issue. We don't want a fatality, and that's the most important thing, so. The next thing is, I did send an email out about t-shirts. I kind of got some responses, but I just want to confirm, and I do have some pictures here, so on this top sheet, I'm gonna pass this around. If you just want to confirm your size, and then just put lime green or dark green, you can kind of see.
But we were thinking, the collared shirts are $25 a piece. I know you really wanted the collared.
Oh, I
shirt.
don't care, that's fine.
We were thinking t-shirts
Oh, I
might
don't
be better because they're cheaper. They're
Oh,
about
I-
10 bucks for how many?
It was a deal for 10 for 100
10 for $100.
t-shirts.
10 t-shirts for $100.
Yeah, but if you look at this t-shirt, it'll kind of have the same kind of look to it, except for without the collar, so I'll pass this around. And if you want to confirm your size on here, then I can go ahead and get that process right away. And hopefully you can get it for Tuesday for everyone that's going to be here. But we'll have it for the rest of the event, so I will pass this down. Okay, and then we did have a fire inspection of all the buildings on Tuesday, and then we passed the flying colors, so that's going well. And then the final thing is, I did talk with Patricia Black, a previous person that was on board and working in the village. She wanted to kind of help her to meet the new villagers, Wendy Spencer. So she's kind of going to be helping her with that. But Pat's still going to be doing the neighborhood watch and everything. And she'll just kind of be helping out with that process now. And that kind of wraps it up.
We are gonna see if Pat wants to maybe do the beautification award.
Do you want to?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of my update.
I have a question. With the gazebo, are we still running electricity to it?
That, the pole out there, I don't believe it has electricity.
It does, well, they're on the light post, but we tried plugging in last year and we couldn't get anything out of it. So we were having to run like 3 extension cords.
I think it's been fixed now.
Has it?
Yes, because we had our IC come out, and there was a problem there, but they fixed it.
Okay, so we don't have to run electricity.
Correct. That was my biggest question when we laid the cement too, like, should we, they're like, it's fixed. So, but yes, I feel like if it isn't fixed, then we need to also look at that.
What does everybody think about the beautification work?
So I had 2 residents ask me about that, and I remembered some discussion or in passing that we're gonna do it in July. And the 2 people that were like, oh, but everything's ugly in July. So maybe it's fine for this year, but maybe next year we could do it middle of June.
Earlier.
Just while everything's still green before July makes everything crispy.
Okay.
Okay.
Or maybe early, like, very, very beginning of July. I don't know if Pat would be into it.
I'd say by the end of June.
Okay.
And I'm gonna bring it up to Pat again and see if that's something she wants to oversee again. So I'll let you know.
Before we go,
How does that work?
I don't, they drove around and looked at yards and picked a few and then had, I
the
don't,
master gardener come up.
yeah.
One of the colleges, right? Was on master gardener.
I don't remember because I wasn't on like.
Side or something like that came out with them, and then they looked at variation of different gardens and houses and things that way.
And there's so many to choose from, so it's kind of a hard choice.
Do you want to be on that committee?
Nope. I
Okay, then.
Yeah, so that's my report.
Treasurer's report?
Nothing right now.
Okay, moving on, discussion, and possible approval for old business of resolution 2024-04, a resolution approving amending of ordinance number 10.25 entitled cut tree stump removal, which is on the very back of your packet. If you want to take a look at the wording.
I'm assuming 6 months or 6 inches is the like recommended
Yes.
depth to do it.
Correct. It's just a little clearer.
A lot more detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So can we approve this resolution? Can I have a motion to approve resolution 2024-04?
I will approve the resolution of 2024, resolution approving amending the ordinance number 10-25 entitled cut tree / stump removal.
Second?
Second.
First by trustee Stein, second by trustee Hinkle. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it, so passed. New business? Possible approval of resolution 2024-03, a resolution accepting the submission of the 2023 CMAR report. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I assume this is something you've been doing?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-03, a resolution accepting the submission of the 2023 CMAR report.
I'll second.
Okay, first by trustee Stein, second by trustee Studi. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so passed. Okay. Oh, there it is, I missed it. Next line item, discussion about possible ordinance regarding stakes in people's yards. It's just a discussion, we're not voting on anything tonight, but I have had some people that were very happy with what was in the newsletter regarding removing of stakes. And then I had somebody email me recently to say, what is with these small stakes that are in the yard? I've asked Lateria, I wrote up a letter just a little bit ago and asked Lateria to send it out to, there's 2 properties, one on South Elmwood Drive and one on, they're right next to each other, one on Oak Tree Lane, that have very short stakes. Now I feel like it's just moved over to this other property that they've decided that's a great idea. The one on Taylor Avenue, and then the rebar that's on East Elmwood Drive, right on the corner of East Elmwood and Oak Tree Lane. Just to say, the rebar is just too tough of a material. It does make me nervous, but the short stakes really make me nervous that someone is going to fall and hurt themselves. it would not be our responsibility, it would be their responsibility, because we don't have a village ordinance. However, if we did have a village ordinance, that would, that we have to make them liable.
Going back, because they're how far up the road? Well, they're there, right? I mean,
They're right next to
Yeah, I mean, there again, when we did the roads, right, we own, or the village owns.
Right, it's the
What is
easement,
it,
which
6
we just
feet
talked
or whatever
to
going in,
our,
so.
we just talked to our attorney about that as well.
I mean,
And, does the board want to add this to the July agenda to make it an ordinance? Or do we just see if we get any flack from it, I guess?
Flag by just saying remove them, or flag?
Flack from, we asked them to remove them and they don't.
Because there's no repercussion if
Right.
they ask, they just say no.
This is what the letter I'm planning on sending. Well, we do not have a current village ordinance about stakes in people's yards. The board is concerned about the types of stakes you're currently using in your yard due to their short nature and the fact that they are metal, they could harm someone. We have many residents who are out walking their dogs and children riding bikes. If someone should fall, they could become impaled on your stakes you are using due to the material and the shortness of the stakes. We ask that if you would like to stake your yard, use the plastic taller stakes. At this point, now that plowing is no longer happening, we do not deem stakes necessary for yards, as it does take away from the beauty of the village. Please consider this a request. The board is currently discussing about putting a possible ordinance in place if need be. So we could just see what happens.
We can see what happens, but
People approve. I don't really want to put in an ordinance, but I also am
hate
like,
the ordinance, but I hate the stakes. I mean,
I feel like you
know
could
there's
have
other-
from this time to this time, you can have stakes in your yard, and then you need your.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
The winter
Just so-
season.
Or, and I can understand
The
stuff when they're
inside.
repairing, they've got fresh, and it's there, because I know I've seen a couple where they,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, they
fresh
don't want
something,
people walking.
which I totally get that if it's fresh, and that's why I did it for a long time, because I don't like the Amazon trucks driving up my yard.
Right.
But they are also pulled out at this point because it is not springtime. And with a, child that does like to ride his bike around the neighborhood, if he falls on one of those, yeah, sure, it's their responsibility, but, my kid's got a gouge out of him because he fell on a piece of rebar, that's just because I can go after the neighbor isn't exactly the most ideal situation either.
I just think we need to be careful, because if we do an ordinance at some point, if we wait, but now we're telling them their yard, and then we come back and say, well,
This has not gone out yet.
you're right. No, I'm just saying that, we're saying their yard, but if it's 6 feet in, it's not their yard either, so I think we have to be careful.
If you change the word yard to easement.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, send out that letter until we fix it.
Yeah. I mean, 6 feet, I'm sure they need 6 feet in the yard, but if it's,
I have the one neighbor, and they just put out the big rocks.
Yeah.
And it's natural and it looks nice, and you can still fall and scuff your knee on it, but you're not gonna end up with a piece of rebar washed in your torso.
I just, it's, again, it's one of those things where the odds of it are pretty slim, but all you need is one.
Because you know what it is,
Or
right?
you
If
could
they
kick
drive
it
too
and
far in,
fall
I'll fix
over.
them.
Well,
And that's all it is.
yeah.
It's just something in here saying, well,
You could fall
Mm-hmm.
anywhere.
Mhm.
My issue with it is it doesn't look good. That's my main issue.
Well, and people put their tires in full roads, and
Yeah.
that's gonna go on the homeowner.
Yeah.
So that's gonna cost them.
Yeah, so I just don't.
I go more on, it looks pretty aesthetic, but I'm worried about the safety part of it.
So I'm just gonna send a letter, and we're not gonna make an ordinance about this.
We can table it.
Yeah.
We can see how it
I'm gonna
goes.
table it.
Yeah.
We're
Yes,
just gonna-
I'll
okay.
respond.
All right.
but, I'm sorry, but maybe put in the letter though too, that yes, we know back to winter, and if that's where you're doing it, then maybe give them until April 15th to, put a date, because just like with the tree thing where, we supposedly grandfathered it. but
Right, if we have an
You gotta
ordinance,
remember that if it was 18 or 19 or 20 of the stumps, we have the dates have to be removed and be put back in October 15th or whatever the case is.
right,
Yeah.
it doesn't snow
But
until January.
To a certain size though too.
Yes,
And material.
and material, and I don't even, the taller stakes that they used to stake when we had snow,
But you still,
it didn't bother me, but they were taken out.
Right.
Yeah.
And like now you could just use plastic stakes, it's spring or summer, and I just don't
Yeah.
understand people, but.
I don't know why they're still there.
Okay. Next on the agenda, I need a, resolution of approval of accounts payable.
I move to approve accounts payable.
Second.
First by trustee Hinkle, second by trustee Johnson. Discussion, all in favor? Opposed? You guys have it so fast, did everybody sign this?
Do you need anything signed before we go into closed session?
No.
All right, next, I need someone to make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility, the administrator review and village clerk treasurer review. Can someone make a motion to go into closed session?
I make a motion to go into closed session.
Second? First by trustee Whittick, second by trustee Johnson. And we will